What is up? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Xavier Turbos. Round 19, the last dreaded bye round is done and the run home is here. I'm joined by the coach of the Pretenders, Grant McCartan. How are you, Grant?
Howdy, Savs. I am actually really well. I'm really well. Yeah, it's been a good fortnight since I was last in here and life's good.
Team List Tuesday has really rocked a boat. I feel like we haven't seen anything as exciting as this since probably prior to round 12.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere around that. I mean, most of the bye rounds have had sort of more predictable shocks. Still shocks, as in like to your team, but not, oh my God, where'd this come from? This week, this is the sort of chaos that you don't, I mean, as long as it doesn't kill your team, you kind of don't mind it too much. It just throws a cat amongst the pigeons, makes it a little easier to potentially jump up the ranks and, yeah, I'm actually really. It's actually got me excited, and that's not easy to do this time of year. Like SuperCoach does trend towards being, sort of a little bit more. Everyone's got similar sides or got the similar guns, and you're looking for your pods. This week's blown that out of the water.
It looks like a lot of teams from 1 to 18 are going to look very similar, and weeks like this, you really rely on your 18th to 21st player. And I think that's going to be the difference going forward. So I think building depth is important. Holding trades is very important. So this time of year is crazy. Round 20, we've only got 7 weeks to go. It sounds like it's still 2 months away, but still like it's going to come up quick. And head-to-head finals is only 6 weeks away. So just over a month, and we're pretty much head-to-head finals is 3 weeks.
Yeah, around 23.
Yeah.
So and in that space, I hate to go back over historical years and stuff, but like last year, this is the stage where someone like Tommy Turbo went on a crazy run. Like this is where teams can capitulate, big scores can happen. Some of the big guns are trying to sneak their team into finals or trying to make sure that their form is tip-top ready for finals. Like this is the stage of the year where you can get some really big scores, and I think got to get your captains and VCs right this time of year.
100%. I think all year I've kind of been up and down with the captains. I've got it right here, got it not right here. Like on the weekend, 53 Carraz. I feel like it was the kind of week where you didn't really capitalise too much unless you had Hines. I didn't have Hines anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to capitalise this weekend. Still made ranks. I'm in the 2000s, 2,900. So it's been a long ride to get to where I am, but 5 trades left. So panic station's there.
Is that 5 before this week?
Unfortunately.
No, that's still. I just want to make sure that's still good. That's still good. I think there's. I think if it depends how close you are to your final team. If you want to, it's always going to be a trade that you want to make each week that looks really pretty up in lights. But the question is, once you get to that squad of 21 that you were talking about, how long till, how long can you hold on with that? What you would call your priority squad before you start bringing those pods in? Because I think, in the spot that you're in, and I'm not too far behind you in 3,900th, give or take. So I am an overall player, always been an overall player, but I do want to save some trades for head-to-head finals. There's a few pods in that particular period that I really think will be good specifically for those finals, and I just want to make sure that I've got a few trades for that sort of thing. Round 26, round 27 as well. You can always make ranks if you flip back to overall focus, or if you've got head-to-head finals in round the head-to-head grand final in round 26. So I think it's just a question of how with those trades, once you get to your final side, can you sit on sort of 2, 3, 4, 5 trades and use it? There's going to be people out there who are going to have still 9, 10 sort of trades, and I guess whether they've had more luck with injuries or they're just more patient with different things, they've got a chance to do some really cool moves now. So we've probably done a bit of that throughout the year to try and catch up a little bit at times.
Yeah, especially with the starting sides. Like I feel like myself in particular, I butchered my starting side just based on the direction I went. So I had to fix that up pretty quickly. And I do it every year. Like I go hard, but usually I'm chasing ranks earlier in the year, which, I made up ground. But it also come at a cost where my side wasn't as good as everyone, so I'm still making up.
Wasn't as deep, right? Yeah. That's where, and then in rounds where chaos happens, you probably got hit harder than some of the rest of us. It's
actually been okay most weeks of chaos. Like I've never gone short players. I've never really been short of strength in my sides. I think my final 17, like a strong 17, 18. I first fielded that, I would say, close to round 12, round 11 or something like that. Yep. So pretty happy with how the side's going. And this Carnage, I welcome it with open arms. I think the biggest news out of the team list today, Nathan Cleary not named, and Jerome Hughes and Nico Hines, a massive talking point. Owners can rejoice. You can wait another week. I actually think as a non-owner of Nico Hines, I welcome this because playing the Roosters, Nico Hines, I feel like this is a matchup he might struggle against. And I think Hughes is the clear standout. Although if Cleary was in, maybe a lot more people would have sold Hughes, which I would have been open for.
Yeah, I reckon you're right.
So it's kind of worked both ways for me, but we will go over it as we hit team lists. But how many trades do you have remaining?
I have 8 prior to the start of this week, so I'll make 2 this week for sure.
Yep.
And yeah, I think I'm in a reasonable spot. As I said, 3900th. I'm off 1280 on the weekend. I had Terrell as captain. I really didn't see him going less than 70, so to get 57 was a bit disappointing. But I mean, it's 13 points, right?
Yeah.
I know your skipper gets doubled, but against with Tedesco's updates, that was my VC. He got 85. It wasn't like I left Herbie or Hines on the table. I never thought about VCing them, to be honest, last week. I actually thought that game would be a bit dour, and it did end up being that way, 24-12, I think this final score was. But they were just involved in everything, as they tend to do. Well, as particularly Herbie has. My God, has he had a season.
Have you seen his last 4 weeks? 105, 150, 108, 86, and then 105 on the weekend. Yeah. So 4 out of 5 weeks is turned up. If you're not a Herbie owner, Jesus Christ. And is it delete the app territories?
Well, it nearly is, because he's got the cows this week too.
So non-owners just can't even get a break.
No, and I mean they can next week after maybe he puts up another 140 this week or something.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Last week, 1280. I say that my skipper wasn't good, but I also had a Bear 17 and had King Tonga and Kane Bradley in that 17. So I had 15 decent players last week, scraped 400 and something rank rise overall. But like I was saying to you pre-show, 2 weeks ago I was on here complaining about how vanilla my team had been. They'd been ranked within, I think it was something like these are round ranks, 13,000 and 17,500 for a whole month. Well, to the shock of absolutely no one, I've actually almost managed to stay within those ranks. My last 6 round ranks have been between 10,500th and 17,500th. So if anyone wants to go and have a look at their round ranks across the season and see if they have even a 3-week period where they had 3 round ranks close together, I'll be impressed. 6, I don't think anyone's doing 6.
I've just looked at mine, and we're talking about it pre-show. I'm like, I think I've done it 3 weeks in a row. I think I've done it 7 weeks in a row. So 9,000th, 9,400th, 9,265, 5,700, 8,600, 5,500, 3,400 and 2,900. Last 7 weeks.
Is that your overall rank, or is that your... are you sure that's not your overall rank?
Overall rank, 2,9. So...
Yeah, is that where you...
Oh, it actually is.
You are... that sounded like an overall rank. Do you want to tell me in that if you even had 3? Go now. Look in the column next to it where it says round position.
I'm sorry.
And tell me if any of them are close. Just honest to goodness.
Okay, 4, 6, 23,000, 1,600, 64,000.
Yeah.
827th, 1,500, 7. Yeah, so it's a lot harder than my God. But here I am, think I'm the third immortal.
Like, honestly, in that, like, I'd say to anyone, like, go and have a look, because I'd say I've asked 15 people, and they can't believe, once they look at their round ranks, how boringly consistent my team has been. I would kill right now for a 500 round rank and then an 80,000th. I'd live with it, because I just want some excitement in my life, Savs. It's been pretty bland at the Pretenders, and it's not for trying. I've tried, I've left some decent players on the bench chasing upside. I've last 2 weeks I've VC'd Teddy when he was a popular C and tried to go somewhere else. I don't know what's wrong with my team. They can't. It's all positive. All green arrows for 6 weeks. Just all of them like 300 to 700 green rise. So can't complain too much. It's all like, a lot of green arrows is good, but boy, I would absolutely kill for some excitement in my team right now. I don't know what to do about it, but I think I've got a plan. So
I've actually in the off season I started listening to Bloody Brilliant Beers. I don't know if you know who they are.
I do know who they are.
And they've got Caesar's Palace on there, massive cricket fan. You and him would get along just based on like what I hear from him and what I know from you. You and him would get along so well. He's a Raiders fan, just like your brother. He does crowd predictions every week.
Yep.
And it's so niche. I feel like we could get something going for your team. Round position.
Well, you won't have to look too far if you can read out a number between 10,000 and 17,000.
But he literally the crowd predictions he does. He wants to get within like 0.5% or something. Like he tries to get back. He's got bang on like twice, I think.
Right.
And that's just based on in the past teams have used the same number for roundabouts a certain crowd. So that's the times he's got it right. So what have you been averaging?
I'd have to bring my team up.
As a round rank, it was like, what, 7,000?
Oh, yeah. No, it's between 10,000th and 17,000th every round for 6 weeks.
10,000 and 17,000.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe we'll get something going in the Patreon group chat where we predict Grant's rank for the week in a poll. We look back on it at the end of the weekend. He sends his side and we have a round
feel
rank.
Free. Happy to have everyone have a stab at my round rank, but I'm just telling you that this week I promise not to try anything too fancy or try and ruin it by going lower than that. I would like to go higher than that. I'd like to be in the 4 digits as a bare minimum this week. I'd like to sneak under 10,000. That'd be nice. But yeah, look, as I said, can't complain. But yeah, it's just, one of those weird niche stats, but I'm not sure what to do about it. So we'll see if we can fix it today.
Yeah. So you're on the podcast 2 weeks ago. You said you were just complaining about how you haven't had any variation. That weekend, I was complaining about 1C Geimer absolutely ruining a loop opportunity. All I have to say is he's repaid faith.
He's come full circle for you.
He really has. I ended up playing him as my 18th player. I didn't expect much at all. I was speaking to Timmy about it on the weekend. He's like, do I force a second trade and not play Geimer? Like the likeliness of him getting anything remotely wantable is that it's near no chance.
Yep.
Like his high score before that was 55 with a try. So he I'm pretty sure he ended up holding the trade and ended up playing Geimer. But just the repay and faith, I absolutely slammed him on that Sunday wrap, so I've got to give him a big apology because he has repaid faith. But doing it this late when I have 3 trades left, I probably can't trade you out, mate. So if you can perform like that for the rest of the season, handy backup.
I don't know how much value it has for you, but Kidione Katonga is out with a syndesmosis injury, so he very well could keep banging out big minutes.
I've been kissed on the dick the last 3 or 4 weeks.
You have been, but it's been. I love that. Like, there's nothing better than somehow you've traded out. You do this all the time. And
I know.
How you traded out Pappenhausen before, like when no one else wanted anything but to have him in their side. You just went, nah, not feeling it, and then he just pops up the 2 rounds we all needed him with a random alleged calf
injury or something.
And he's just...
I had him for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then sold him.
Sold him to Tommy Turbo, who it was a long... Actually, no, I'm pretty sure I sold him back to Teddy.
Right.
But I had... In order to do that, I kept Turbo. It was a long wait, but I got a ton out of him. And, Turbo has tonned up against every club except Melbourne. And he plays Melbourne this week, and I expect big things from Turbo. I think he'll be the 3rd player to do so. It was Nathan Cleary who hit it when he turned up against the Dolphins last year. Teddy did it earlier this year against turned up against Penrith. So that was his full circle. Now it's time for Tommy Turbo to hit it. So, anyway, back to what we are on track about. Pappenhausen. We're actually recording the studio where their produces their show from. They're in Melbourne. They record in the Melbourne studio. And we have got a little word about his injury that he doesn't know much yet. So you got to watch that podcast because he's definitely going to hound him about it. I asked Dave to try and get a suss of how long he's going to be, which I'm sure he would have said anyway. And also the goal kicking. They had a clip a couple of weeks ago where Nick Meaney was on the podcast and pretty much said he got injured, Paps was kicking him well, so he just kept them. And Meaney kind of gave him the green light to say, yeah, you're good to keep kicking. Like, I'm happy not to do it.
Having watched them both, I think Pappy is a better kicker. And
I think so too, but I think towards closer to when he got his injury, he was starting to get, like, there was a couple of kicks where he was just off target.
Yeah, look, I mean, I feel like there's, people go through that throughout a year. There's also bits where he's kicked like 10 from 10 in the season. So it's a numbers game, right? You're going to miss some. It's about, you need a big enough sample size. I think even just watching Pappy, I think I think Meaney's a pretty good kicker as well. He's definitely no mug, but I think Pappy's like an 80+% kicker and he looks like it when he kicks. But I do have a feeling that Meaney may hold the kicking when he comes back. At
least for 2 weeks.
Just to keep some wear and tear out of his legs. Yeah. Like there's actually no need for Pappy to kick when Meaney is as good as he is. Like if he was just sort of, a bit of a stabber, a bit of a backup kicker, then I'd probably say there's a good chance he gets it straight back. But I think they trust Meaney, and I think that there's a good reason to.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much in between them, but keep an eye out for that podcast. They promised us at the start of the year we're going to get Paps, Hughes, or Munster on our podcast. So
yeah, they allege that, but we'll have to
get on to it. It's been 20 rounds. Come on, guys. We'll try and bug for that before final series.
We can always
obviously.
Try. On the topic of being in that same studio, I was actually told in a group chat last week that I look real. Someone was trying to guess my height based on my what I look like.
Yeah.
On the thing. And I got guesses ranging from like 5'6" to 5'9". And I'm like, guys, I'm literally 6 feet tall. I don't know what it is about this studio, but just keep putting it out there.
6 foot?
Yeah.
I would have guessed 4'8".
182.
No, I'm kidding.
2 separate measurements, I hope.
Are you 6 foot?
Yeah, 182 centimetres. I think it's a tick under technically, but
I think I'm 6'2" or 6'1".
6'4", I think.
In
heels.
Definitely. I went to the Adidas event last weekend, last Tuesday after the podcast, and you don't realize how short NRL creators are because I was just towering above them, and I'm like, I just felt so alpha, like being the only 6 foot guy there. There was bloody bunch of hot chicks there, and I'm like, they want the tall guys. They're going to come to me, bro.
Well, the playbook boys are pretty tall. There's a few tall boys on the playbook.
Timmy's tall.
So Spy.
Spy's pretty tall.
Yep.
Brothers, obviously.
Yep.
Actually, Timmy's taller than me.
Yep.
I was surprised how tall he was. It's funny when you watch these podcasts.
Those are the thoughts where it goes to.
Yeah, you kind of guess their height. You think they're
completely
a lot higher than they are. Like Winston Neville, he's like that on me.
Yeah, I met him at the Drinkwest event last year.
Yeah. Yeah, they asked us to do another event this year, and I haven't been bothered to do it.
It's just been challenging, I think.
Oh, I thought last year was good.
It was good fun.
But it was just like, leave it there. But maybe I'll do something later on. Who knows? All right, let's move on to the team list hot topics of the week, or the team list wrap up. And we'll start off with the Dolphins play the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have dropped Robert Derby on that wing. Jackson Paulo comes in. Braden Burns comes in at center. And I'm very interested in Braden Burns. We'll talk about him later. For the Dolphins, Jermaine Asako keeps on the wing. Hamiso returns at fullback. Sean O'Sullivan at 5'8". Jack Avarillo on the wing, and Herbie Farnworth. Very, very tempting VC option. Not much else doing in that game. Grant, you got anything to add here?
Just Clifford's still out with that quad injury means that I think the Cowboys are probably, the record this year with and without Clifford is, I think it speaks volumes. And I was really looking at Drinky this week as a potential big score against the Dolphins, but I'm actually maybe leaning towards now the Dolphins winning that one. So whatever that means to people. Harrison Graham on the bench plays mostly as a hooker. Interested to see if Marshall King, far out, he worked his clacker off last week, like 60 tackles, but I just wonder if they're wary of him playing the full 80 for anyone who's looked at him at hooker.
Who is this Orbelix Tawa?
Yeah, Tafa. He's a young guy that apparently, well, I don't want to say train the house down because I think it's obviously super cliched, but literally they were talking, Wolfie was waxing lyrical about him in the pregame last week, just basically saying we can't keep him out of the side. Like he's been a centre and a back rower coming through, and he's just that good that they just had to find a spot. And with all the middle injuries for them, they got him on the bench for a couple of weeks, and now he's starting. I think he's been really, really he looks really athletic.
Reminds me of a Yu-Gi-Oh character, like Obelisk the Tormentor. That's what we're calling him.
Niche, and I like
Obelisk the Tormentor.
You know who was good for them last week? Their young winger, that Tavita Nafahu. He was good.
Oh yeah, so
very impressive.
So was Jethro for the Dogs.
For the Dogs, yeah,
so
very impressive.
Good wingers coming through. It's crazy how you see none of these guys, and all of a sudden you're like, we've got.
They look like an NRL player.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, which is 6 o'clock on Friday. Sharks play the Roosters, and for the Sharks, unchanged as usual. Hopefully Cam McInnes is 1 week on from that boil he was in hospital for. And
nasty.
For the Roosters, Chad Townsend at 6, Sam Walker at 7. I'm excited to see. Oh, do you feel like they've chosen... Sandon is still at number 20. Do you feel like they've chosen Chad because they want to persist with Sam Walker on the left rather than the right?
No, that's the only... I mean, there's no way that Chad Townsend has jumped Sandon again, so that's what it has to be. I think it's just as simple as they want reps in him on that left edge.
Because for me, Daniel Tupou is someone I'll toss up whether to play or not this week. And Sam Walker on that left side I really, really like. Connor Watson, last week's most traded in, named at number 9 with Zach Docker-Clay on the bench, but not much else doing there. Anything else to add?
No, it should be. I can't believe that's a 6 o'clock game. Should be one of the better games of the round, and I think they could have done a bit more justice than 6 o'clock on a Thursday, but we'll leave it there.
I like that time slot, though.
For watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, yeah, but, I mean, normally you want sort of prime. That's a prime time game for me, I would think. Not really a 6 o'clock game, but... Yeah, for personal reasons, I actually like having a good game at 6 o'clock on a Friday as well.
Yeah, me too. Although I don't mind the Tigers Titans matchups on Thursdays, on Friday early, because SuperCoach wise, we get points. Panthers play the Rabbitohs on Friday night, and Dylan Edwards returns at fullback. Alamotti in at centre because Tago is suspended, but Nathan Cleary and Isaiah Yeo are out rested. Are they named on the extended at all?
No.
They are not, so they are gone this week. And, Cleary was the most traded in before team list drop. We got this mail really early, actually. We posted it this morning in the Patreon chat. Go over there. I mean, you're not going to get inside news that often, to be honest, but
that was good mail.
We always pass that on when we can. Glad to have it on the money there, but Nathan Cleary... out.
He's already dropping like a fly in the round, like the highest bought for the round.
Is he not number 1?
Well, I'm now looking at the top 1% mostly because that's what we're all chasing at this stage of the season. But he's now dropped to 4th in the top 1%. So people.
He's dropped to 2nd in the overall thing, which is actually really.
I mean, look, that's obviously going to change to near 0 by the end of the round. So
yeah, 100%.
What that will mean though is it's going to spread all those purchases that were on him into a whole bunch of different pods.
Yeah, who's going to be the next one? It's going to be crazy.
We'll get there.
For the Bunnies, Latrell Mitchell returns, potential option at that position. Brandon Smith not named. Lewis Dodd at 17 with Pete Mamazelis. Jesus, their shot. Keon returns, but we've got Tallis Duncan in at centre, who Paul Alamotti is running out. So draft owners...
It's interesting for me that they, draft owners definitely. It's interesting for me that they have swapped. Aitken was the one who was going first to the centres, and Tallis Duncan was that good last week there that they've decided to leave Aitken in the back row. I know there's probably not a heap of Ewan Aitken owners still, but those that have held him for depth and the duel, that's actually a good result for you guys. I think that Ewan Aitken will score better there. I don't think it will affect Tallis Duncan owners too much. One thing I did note, just because I did a little bit of research pre-show, Alamotti kicks or has been kicking over Dylan Edwards when they play together. Alamotti may not play next week, though, if they're at full strength, because I'd assume Jenkins and Toto I think Jenkins has won that left wing.
Oh, yeah.
And Toto will clearly play on the other, and I think that Tungo and McLean will hold the centre spot. So whether Cleary kicks next week or whether Edwards, if you're looking at someone who's looking at, someone like Edwards, if you're one of those people, he may and that's what was swaying you, that he would be kicking this week, I wouldn't bank on it at all.
I actually think that every chance Cleary comes back next week and still isn't kicking.
Yeah, completely
It might
agree.
be for a week or two.
Completely agree. Just warning people, like, if they were thinking, like, great, Cleary's out, Edwards kicks, wouldn't bank on it this week.
I actually think Edwards is a better kicker than Alamotti.
So do I by numbers, but that's just not how they've played it. This year, anyway, when they've both played together without Cleary, Alamotti's kicked.
Good shout there. The Raiders take on Parramatta at home, Saturday, 3 p.m. Great time slot.
Great SuperCoach game this, I reckon. Like, watchable, fun, fast. I reckon this is a cracker.
I wish I didn't waste a Dylan Brown trade on Lockie Galvin last week, because I'd be so excited as a KO Weeks owner today on the Saturday.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, but I reckon you've done pretty well with that as well.
Yes,
I think you've.
Oh, I did not foresee this Dylan Brown.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you haven't won to the level that you wanted to win at, but you may get a really good consolation prize.
May reap the rewards
bloody oath.
there. So Tarpanay returns at front row, Horsburgh at lock, Hosking and Young return at second row. Young is one of the most popular traded in players this week. He's actually number one now after the Cleary news. For the Parramatta Eels, Lomax returns on the wing, Joash Papali'i at 6, which means that Dylan Brown is at number 18, not even playing in the side, because Riley Smith is starting 9, Talon De Silva on the bench, Jordan Samrani on the bench, and Charlie Geimer. See Geimer, number 11. I love him now.
How things come and go so fast in SuperCoach. I actually, just in this game, I just already said, I think it's just going to be a cracking game to watch, SuperCoach-wise, and just in general. It'll be fun. Random stat of the day. Ethan Strange has the highest tackle bust percentage in the NRL.
Yes.
60% of his runs result in a tackle bust. For reference, guys like Herbie and Teddy, who are the highest tackle busters in the game and also seem to do it regularly, are in the 40 to 44% range. So that's no mean feat to have 60% of your runs and end with it, or have a tackle bust on them. So, yeah, just random stat there, but I think it goes to show other guys that are in the top end, Tamale and KO Weeks, all in the top 10%.
It's crazy. KO Weeks, like, he's an attacking weapon, but you don't see him as that natural tackle buster. Like,
Does he remind you a bit of Lehigh in that way?
No.
Not the same? More
Reminds
speed?
me of like a, not even a Brian To'o, because he's stocky. He reminds me of like a, let me think about it.
I think from watching them both, Lehigh and Weeks, both rely on making their tackle busts more from pace. Like, I think they seem to change their speeds, their tempo, which just slightly puts defenders off. Like, it's not much, but they seem to burst through tackles off good contact more than they should for their size. That's how I see it anyway.
Did you get the stat of what his average of tackle busts per game is, like for SuperCoach?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
But I can get it up pretty quickly while you keep going.
I've got it like right here, but SuperCoach just loading. So tackle busts. I mean, it doesn't look super impressive on the eye here, but like, since round 13, 10 points in tackle busts, 30 points in tackle busts, 10 points in tackle busts, 2 points in tackle busts, 8 points in tackle busts. He just gets them every game, which is like the accumulation. Whereas,
Weeks is still, what's this? He's still 6th in total tackle busts.
Yeah, wow.
He's had, what's that? He's had 90 tackle busts in 17 games, so that works out to be a bit over 5 a game. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Jack Williams starts on the edge as well for the Parramatta Eels. So there should be interesting to see what the rotation is there with Sam Riney and Dury on the bench. Sam Tuiviti, the only proper middle in there. I assume Dury comes on, plays middle.
Yeah, I'm going to guess
Williams moves to the middle when Sam Riney comes on.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that it's a Geimer maybe gets the 80 on an edge. Williams will play big minutes, but it'll be split between middle and edge, and Sam Riney will take over there when it's time to rotate.
Hopgood starts a prop.
Yeah, interesting. I guess it could give us a duel, but until that back injury must be something, man. That bloke's like, he's a great player, and for them to be managing him as much as they are, and for him to just sort of lack the impact, it must be something that's sort of really gets to him.
Or Riles just hates him.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know.
I doubt it.
I doubt. For him, I doubt it. For others, maybe.
He was in the Origin camp a couple of weeks ago. So
Yep.
the Bulldogs take on the Dragons 5:30 Saturday, and Tuala remains at centre. Jethro remains on the wing, so we're still yet to see. Bronson Sherry is out.
Yeah, I believe possibly carrying an injury of some kind.
Rookie Jethro. Hopefully we get more news there. But Tuala in the centres, Jethro still on the wing. We've got Burton and Galvin named at 7. And Toby Sexton on the extended. I might play Galvin this game, eh?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, bloody oath. I mean, he is against our better side. I think Burton's got the better matchup, but there's not really a great side for St. George at the moment. We're trying our best, but defensively we struggle.
For the Dragons, they pretty much remain as they were, not too far off. Anything else in this game? Kick out injury cloud?
From what I've heard, he didn't train fully today, but I don't know enough about it. I know that last week he was given a rest. He just looked gassed. It was quite warm up in the tropics, so. Look, it's the first rest he's had in a while. It's the first down game he's had in a while. I'll be watching him closely this week, unfortunately, as a Dragons fan. I'll be hoping against him. But the only thing I'll say on this game is Sit v Start's getting interesting this time of year. And we will. I don't know. We don't. I know we don't. We kind of cover it across the conversation. I just wonder if potentially, and this is a big call, but we're going to have to make a lot of these big calls this time of year. Valentine up against Stephen Crichton is potentially a sit if your side's good enough this week.
Yeah, I think because of these matchups, that's why Valentine isn't on my radar.
Yep.
Because he's got too many of these that it'd just be such a headache. But he hasn't scored below 58.
That's right. Well, I mean, I think he'll still score well enough. I just don't think. I think his ceiling's probably capped a little bit. But I know that the teams that the Dragons play look on paper. Well, not look on paper. They are it's quite a challenging draw. But some of the left side attack versus right side defense matchups are better than the overall team matchup. So just be aware of that.
Right. You're probably right, for sure. How about that try last week? Just the way he can change direction while at top speed.
Yeah, he's crazy.
I find that so...
He's a special attacking player. I just
Specialman.
Just wish he could defend as well as he could attack. But you know what? I love having him at the Dragons. We're very lucky. So.
Yeah. Storm take on the Manly Sea Eagles, 7:30 on Saturday night at Amy Park. Nick Meaney is named at fullback for Pappenhausen. Kane Bradley still on the wing. Still no signs of Will Warbrick. Not named on the extended either. Jack Howarth and Grant Anderson back in the centres. Xavier Coates on the wing. Cameron Munster returns. Jerome Hughes. I actually don't mind Cameron Munster as a purchase.
I think hopefully by now most people have their 6 sort of sorted and they're steady. But I'm a Munster owner. I've held him literally the whole season. I did have both him and Campbell for a few weeks before Campbell got injured. But I've had Munster pretty much since he came back from showed early doors that he was good to go. I've had him.
Harry Grant named at number 9. I bought him last week, and I'm actually very excited for this matchup. I think this is a good matchup for him. Playing the Manly Sea Eagles. Manly Sea Eagles remain the same in the starting side. Jazz Tavanga comes in at number 9. Jake Simpkin on the bench. My bet of the week, brought to you by picklebet.com.au. User code TURBO. Harry Grant and Jake Simpkin anytime.
Oh, wow. I like that.
I've got up with the double hooker bet in the past. It was a Reece Robson, Lockie Croker. I put like $20 and won $1,000.
Nice.
The double hooker play is always.
When was the last time that you actually was that the last time you thought of it, or have you done it many times since then, or is that just something you've just you've just got a feeling this week?
I think I've done it once since, and one of them scored, one of them went off injured, so I'm voiding that. So this, I just feel like this is the one. Jazz Tavanga's not going to score. Simpkin's going to come off the bench and score. So Harry Grant, Jake Simpkin, anytime. I'll get the odds up for that via Picklebet, but that's what I like. Tommy Talau coming off the bench. Tommy Turbo in at centre. It's got a -2 break even. Any interest in buying? He's got a pretty average draw over the next couple of weeks, but head-to-head finals is very good.
Yeah, I'd just wait. Like, it's just not like I was saying before, there's probably I'd say I've already got probably 4 or 5 guys on my list that I would love to have, and I could have them as soon as now. Like Tommy, you could get him now. Cash just isn't an issue this year, so if he's a bit more expensive in 3 or 4 weeks and he's playing really good footy, then I'll look to grab him then. But yeah, no interest in the short term.
100% agree. I'll get that bet up as soon as I'm ready. Tigers play the Titans at Campbelltown 2:00, and Taruva remains at fullback. Taylor May, named to make his Tigers debut, scored a hat-trick in 9 minutes last week. Thoughts on that?
Thoughts on the hat-trick or thoughts on him making his debut?
Yeah,
I think the Tigers need to pick him. I won't be touching him in my SuperCoach side. He's currently in the Ezra Mam bucket.
Oh, really?
Of getting look. I think Taylor. I just need an off season to stomach it. Ezra, I'm not sure where I stand on him long term, but I won't be touching him. Look, at another club in another situation maybe, but Tigers left centre. It's not a bad spot to be, but I don't think there's much SuperCoach relevancy there. I do think what it has made is an interesting rotation in there for Adam Dewey.
Oh, Adam Dewey named it lock, which is, I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think what it looks to me, their starting pack probably lacks a bit of punch, or quite a bit of punch, I'd say. I think everyone would agree with that. But their bench with Fainu, Pole, and Hope all coming off there, I think that's a really good thing to balance the middle of their game. Adam Dewey was exceptional. Horrible defensively early, then turned the game around, played them back into the game almost single-handedly when he moved into the middle. They just played really, really square. Like I would like to see himself. He played square. I would like to see more of them through the middle. Like Terrell's score was almost directly linked to Adam Dewey playing so many minutes in that role, because I don't know if anyone watched that game, but Dewey just passed out the back. He never played flat to Terrell. They didn't use Terrell's offload. They didn't use. I thought Fainu was really good. Sione Fainu, that is. Thought he had a really good game in the middle, but they just didn't use their middles, and they tried to just play side to side footy, and it just doesn't work. I don't know how many teams have to even look at how the Sharks played last week. They got a depleted Dolphins pack, and they played super direct, and they played their best game in God knows how long. But it was all on the back of them playing direct, and then Brayley and Hines just being able to run off that. And they looked amazing, but it was all the hard work from the middles. And the Tigers just didn't play that way last week. They still put up, it was a brave performance. The Warriors are a good side. But I wonder if it takes away from guys like Terrell, and they just need to be a bit more direct. That's what I would suggest. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Very interesting.
Yep. The Titans are pretty much named the same backline, which means Campiero is still on the bench, and their bench also has David Fafita, who has gone down 640K, 155 break even. I am licking my lips just looking at next year for this.
Yep, agree. It's almost to the point for me where I hope he ends up either somewhere else or with. Him and Des just don't seem to work.
They'll have a new coach next year.
If they do and they can get the right things out of him, he'll be probably my first pick. But my God, he has finally found his way back into the team, whether that's a peace offering from Des or God knows what it was. He's clearly good enough to play in the team. But he was so bad on the weekend. He was so lazy.
He was very bad, but he looked eager to get out there.
He did look injured.
He looks fitter than he did at the start of the season.
He also celebrated them putting points on when he was on he'd just gone to the bench and they scored straight away. But he just didn't go after the ball when he was out there. He didn't look like the guy that, and to his credit, even when he's had tough times or things in the past, when he's on the field, he's always involved. He was nowhere to be seen on the field when he was on the field.
Missed a crucial tackle nice and early too, and led to a try. So Tino back to his best at number 13. I think I don't know if he's a purchase, but I'm stoked to still own him.
Yeah, I think I would give it one more week, and I would say that he probably falls into the
buy
100% happy to buy category. Yeah, he looked really good.
Knights take on the Warriors in the last game on Sunday. Dane Gagai named a fullback, potential pod option there. Bradman Best in at centre, Hastings and Cogger in the halves. With Dylan Lucas out, they don't go to Jermaine McEwen or Thomas Cant. They go to Brodie Jones.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, I don't either. I find it
interesting.
Yeah.
Probably a nice way of putting it.
And for the Warriors, Tane Tuapiki at fullback. Tanner Boyd retains his position at number 7. Halasima on the edge, but there's not much else doing there. Tanner Boyd looked good last week.
Yeah, he did. They looked good last week. Not to the surprise of probably very few people. I get that you lose Metcalf. I don't think that's the sort of thing when you've got halves in reserve grade of Tanner Boyd or Tamari Martin starting has been playing at 14. But when you got those quality of players as your backups, you don't lose. You lose certain things, Metcalf's pace and sort of game-changing ability. But you've got guys who can, play with behind that pack. It's still a really good pack. Fisher Harris, Egan, Ford, Halasima, Niokore, Clark. That's a really good pack. And they don't even have who are they missing as their starting prop? I'm having a mental blank.
Barnett.
They're missing Barnett, and they're still a good pack. And they've got the luxury of Laban and Vaimunga off the bench. Stowers Smith played really well. I think that's like his 4th game of NRL, and that was the first one I've seen him really impact it. They just have a factory of young, really good forwards out the back, and they watching them play, and Halasima, Laban and Vaimunga in particular, the way they go about it and the smile, the way they're enjoying their footy at the moment, I don't think we should be writing the Warriors off one bit from here.
I actually think they look better to some extent with Tanner Boyd in there at 7. Arguably, I thought he should have been the option at the start of the season and Metcalf should have played 6. But Chanel Harris-Tavita has been just as good. Yep. So I think whatever direction they go, they're in a good spot.
Can you believe, and I don't know if this is there's going to be a late change or something, but Ali Leotawa can't get a run in that side either.
It's funny.
How good is their side?
Yeah, it's so good.
It's crazy.
It's about time this New Zealand catchment of players have finally come
put it together. And look, they have been not hot and cold. They did an unreal job in COVID. Let's not sugarcoat that at all, but they kind of fell off a little bit the last year, 2 years maybe before this. For them to really bounce back in this way this year, ultra impressive and very watchable.
I actually don't find them that interesting to watch anymore. I used to love watching them.
Well, you go for Manly, so I think that says enough for everyone.
All right, this show brought to you by Kyle McGrath Accounting. If you need to get your tax done still, it's only been 2 weeks open. Your group certificate must have come through. Then head over to Kyle McGrath Accounting.com.au or give a call to 0401 044 839. Carl can get the tax done for you. Whether it's a basic tax return or something more complicated, Carl will get it done for you. Just mention the show, $110 for a basic return. Any more, then he'll sort you out for price. He's actually ranked 200th in SuperCoach at the moment, so he's killing it. There's 15 trades left, which is crazy. So I reckon he's in a really good position. I was actually meant to get him on the show on Sunday. He was actually going to do the wrap-up with me, but I messed up the times there. So I think I'll get him on this Sunday.
Yeah, it might be time to get him on for something anyway. Just
for sure.
If he's going that well and he's got 15 trades, geez, I'll tell you what, he'd be having some fun right now looking at all the possibilities of how it can play out for him.
Yeah, with trades like that, you're absolutely licking your lips waiting for a week like this.
Yeah.
All right. So hot topics for the run home. Who has the best draw? I've narrowed it down to a bunch of teams. You can add, if you like, the Warriors have a very good draw home. Canberra, Cowboys, Penrith and Sharks. I think players from these kind of teams I do want to target. A couple of these teams do have buys, but I'm looking at all these players in these teams and I'm just thinking to myself, there's not anyone in particular that stands out. So I've narrowed it down to a couple of players that I think are pretty good options. Any other teams that you think have good draws?
No, I had a look at it today, and look, there probably is, but a couple of them probably aren't super coach or even less SC relevant, or maybe they're more bottom end teams that have a pretty decent draw, but it's nothing really to write home about. I think in terms of SuperCoach points, those are the 5 teams where you might be able to find a pod that could really go off from here.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll kick it off. Nathan Cleary, obviously not named this week, but he had a draw of the Rabbitohs, the Tigers, the Titans, the Knights, Melbourne, and Canberra. Pretty sure, Dogs and Dragons in the last 2. Everyone kind of was arguing that Nathan Cleary potentially wasn't someone you finished with if you got Jerome Hughes and Nico, but his last 6 scores have been 129, 77, 87, 60, 86, 82. If Nico Hines or Jerome Hughes were doing that, then we'd be arguing their holds.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, it's really simple for me.
Yeah.
He's a must-have.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
There's no doubt about it. I know it is really hard because now this conversation was a lot different even last week, right? Nico looked, outside of the fact that he had a really good draw, he looked to sell. Hughes, everyone's got bits and pieces of the spine already. Do you need? How many of them do you need? Not like it was never a bad problem to have, but everyone was working out who am I going to sell? Who am I going to sell? The simple answer is that's how good Nath is. Those guys are both really good options, and they both have their merits in some way, shape, or form. He's just better. He's just a better SuperCoach option. The right price, really good draw. Now their head-to-head finals draw is reasonably tough, but I think Nath's, for me, he's a must-have.
He's a captain option every week, regardless. Hudson Young, 749,000, above 100 break even. He has Para, Newcastle Dragons, and then Manly, and then he has the bye, Penrith, Tigers, Dolphins. 749,000, that is top dollar. He's probably, he's definitely the standout second rower this year. Yep. Eli Katoa's busted out of the ground in the last couple of weeks, but prior to round 12, he was the guy. Do you think he can keep up his early season form?
Yeah, I think so. I think in the preseason we actually discussed him, and I said, obviously he was starting at a premium price because he had a really good season last year, and you never kind of buy someone off their first really big premium season. But I said to you that he's the most interesting own for head-to-head, and the reason for that is he scored two or 300s more than anyone else in the back row last year. He's a guy who can win you any head-to-head game on any given week, let alone when they have a draw that is as good as it is. I know that one of the when he has the bye, it's round 24, so the second week of head-to-head finals. But you can, if it's 1 week, you cover them, right? Everyone's got a stacked back row or at least a deep back row. Injury-wise, that's probably the concern for people at the moment. I did a dive into that. His season base power points per minute is 0.81, which is the best in the position, which is pretty crazy for someone who hasn't historically been known as a worker or a workhorse. In the 3 games that he's played in the NRL since the injury, and he's also played 2 Origin games because there's mixed rumours about whether he's had it for quite a long period or it was exacerbated in game 1 of Origin. He backed up on the Friday after game 2 in Perth, 2 days after the game. So if it was that bad of an injury, they would have 100% rested him then. I know he then still, he's got rested and stuff in between, but that's when he would have been rested if it was that bad. So he must be going okay. In that time, he's had his base power points per minute have been 0.68, 1.04, and 0.76. So his base power points per minute totals in those games has been better than his season average. That to me says it might be a pain injury, it might be a difficult injury, but it's not stopping him scoring SuperCoach points, and that's the main thing. I think he's also got the draw to then get the tries and try assists that he normally gets. So yeah, that's where I stand on him. I think if he's not a must-have, he's bloody close.
Ooh, close to a must-have. Is he in your plans?
Yeah. Yep, I'll get him this week.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I guess the Lucas injury opens up the door for people like this to come into your side.
Which is a bit frustrating for personally for myself because I was going to get him regardless. I was going to go Hosking to him. I'll work it out now. I've got different avenues, but that's what I was thinking. I think that if you look at his likely average to the rest of some of the guns in the position, I guess that's probably why I don't have him as a must-have, because he's not standing out way above some of the other guys, and he has the then the niggle. If he was You know, if I thought he was going to average 5 points per game more, he'd probably fall into that must-have. So he's very close to it. But I that's why I don't have him in the absolute must-have category. He's just a tier below.
Yep. Zach Lomax, 711,000. A lot of people have jumped to him the last 2 weeks, even before that, during the Origin period. I'm considering not rushing him in. The next 3 weeks, Canberra, Broncos, and Melbourne. I know, you know, we talk about edges. Melbourne is actually, they leak tries on their edges. So do the Broncos and Canberra. Every team leaks tries.
Yeah, Canberra do more to the other edge a little bit. They're slightly, like they slightly favour that edge, but yeah.
So the next 3 weeks, his draw is pretty tough. But like with Lomax, I feel like he can overcome that. After that, he has the Cowboys, Rabbits, Roosters, Warriors, Newcastle. Moses hasn't returned yet either. So I think for me, I was looking at backups after Cleary got named, and I'm not necessarily jumping to Zach Lomax straight away.
Completely understand it. I wouldn't rush him in against Cam. Like, I don't think it's like, you know, oh shit, we got to get him in now. However, he did drop an absolute sitter on the weekend that he was untouched over in the corner. Would have got him another 30 points, and then maybe that conversation is different.
And I would have won tipping point.
Yep. Maybe that conversation's different, right? If that's the case.
We're going to talk about tipping point, by the way.
Okay, we'll get there.
Nathan Cleary, our line was 80. I said below. He was on 79 at full time, updated to 82.
Yep.
Lomax was on 80 at full time. I was like,
updated
maybe
to
I
86.
can get him to over 90. Updated to 86. Missed that try.
Yep. So I
got everything else right, but
that yeah, for me, if he scores that, I'm not saying that it should sway you completely, but if he was sitting here this week now with 115 on him on his bingo card, everyone's going, oh shit, maybe I do need to rush him in. You know what I mean? Like he's that close, but because Moses isn't named, I wouldn't sweat it if I was not owner. I got him after Origin when he backed up again after Origin 2, and he hasn't been unreal for me, but he hasn't let me down by any stretch, but he hasn't, you know, ruined non-owners' seasons yet. So I think you can probably get through another week without him, no dramas.
Dane Gagai, 582k, playing fullback, has the Warriors, Penrith, Canberra, pretty tough 3 weeks. Then he has the Cowboys, Broncos, Sharks, and then Para. 12 points in tackle busts on the weekend, 34 points in runs. He had 3 line break assists, a line break, and a try assist. I like what I saw from him at fullback, just like from a pure SuperCoach point of view. And I think he's going to get involved and like just he's going to be where the points come from. Like their fullback is always where the points come from for them.
When they have a bit of pace or playmaking and stuff, but you know what? He's his own style of fullback. Like I think his base power is going to be through the roof. I would have him as a probably not a must, but like a really good buy if he was goal kicking. Hastings, having taken that off him, probably just limits it a bit. But the upside of being a fullback is that you get a lot more touches. He was involved in all their good stuff. It's just a question of how much good stuff they have in them with the side that they've got at the moment. The only other note that I've got on it is, where does he fit in your centre wing at the moment? Like, is he's not clear, well, to my eye, he's not in the Lomax, Herbie, Kiraz, Holmes, Garrick tier. Maybe he is on the back end of that, but then you go, well, do people have Marky Mark? Do they have To'o? Are you a Lehigh own? Like, there's just so much similarity there. But if you're looking for a centre wing, I wouldn't begrudge anyone going for him. I just wouldn't do it and go, you know what? Probably don't need Lomax, or I probably don't need someone. Maybe Val is the guy that I could see people
make way for him.
Skipping. But I just kind of like Val a bit more, and I kind of like that Val. I guess Gagai's flaws not that far off Val's really. They're probably about the same. So maybe he's the right guy. I just think Knights draw and just their team at the moment. I just don't see how they get points.
Dragons are the same though. Probably
a little bit better in attack. Like we've put 20 odd on the last 3 teams we played, like, and that was the Raiders and the Roosters in the last 2 weeks, for example. Like, I'm not saying that it's good attack by any stretch. We're not doing any better than them, but we do put some points on, and I think that's probably the difference. I really think the Knights will struggle to put points on.
Braden Burns, 533K, 73 in Bates and Power on the weekend. He has the Dolphins, the Dragons, Sharks, Para, Newcastle, Tigers, and Broncos. Playing centre for the Cowboys, who are hot in attack. I don't hate it, but like as you said, what spot is it going to take up in your centre wing? But they've got a really good draw, and maybe going someone like this over like I don't mind Braden Burns over like a Lehigh if that's someone you're kind of looking
Tossing
at getting
up,
in. Yep. I have a Lehigh in my side. There's no way I'm going sideways, but like I really like it.
Yeah, if you're upgrading your sixth centre wing, for example, from a 400, so like sort of a peaked cow or something like that, then yeah, I got no issue with it. The only thing I would say is just wait a week, because I don't know what the hell's going to happen with Clifford and Purdue. We all expect that if Clifford comes back from his injury, he walks into the sixth role, which probably pushes Purdue out. Maybe that only pushes Burns to a wing. I'm not saying he's out of the side, but especially now that Darby's been dropped to reserves, so maybe he does go straight to Paulo's wing. But it's too much conjecture. This time of year, you just got to be really certain on the role that people have. The other thing to watch out for with the Cows is they have the round 27 bye, and if you're getting a more mid-tier guy, you probably really want them to be playing in 27, because that's when some of your big guns will be could be rested or that sort of thing.
It doesn't necessarily, if you're a head-to-head player, then don't worry about it. 100%. If you're overall, then forget about it.
Yeah.
Jermaine Asako.
Yep.
Cowboys.
Or as you wrote on the run sheet, Jamaibi Asako, which I thought was I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't even mean
I know you didn't mean it, but like I just thought it was, Jamaibi I will.
Jamaibi I will, Jamaibi I won't. I'm buying him this week. I sold him 2 weeks ago. I knew he had a bye coming up. He had a tougher matchup in the Sharks last week. Still scored 46, lost a bit of cash, but has the Cowboys this week, then a bye, and then they run into they got a pretty good draw after that. They are a bit shot for depth at the moment, but I don't know. He has the Cowboys, then he has the Warriors and Roosters. Then he has the Broncos, Manly, and then Gold Coast in the head-to-head finals. So there are two crucial matchups this week, and round 26 that I think he can really capitalize on it. And I think when you have these guys for these certain matchups at the back end of the year that go big, it really defines the end of the year. And I feel like him and Herbie in these sorts of matchups are going to be really crucial.
Well, the funny thing is, we talk about averages and that's all fine, but at this stage of the year, you're not playing them every week. Yeah. You don't have to.
Yeah.
So if he does come out and say this weekend, he gets, let's call it 100, right? Just round numbers. And against the Titans, he gets another 100. If you only play him for maybe one more round somewhere in there, and he gets a 70, he's averaging 90 in the rounds that you've played him. And then you've found another player to play in the rounds that are a bit tougher. You don't actually have to look at. They don't have to be perfect every week. You've just got to make sure that between your 21, you've got 18 good players on or as good as you can have on any given week. And on weeks where your backs are a little bit tougher matchups, you can easily just trot out a Tarpanay or a Tino or a Aaron Clark. Well, most people probably play Aaron Clark every week, rightly so. But, those, you can trot out a steady guy and go, you know what? I would normally chase upside here, but my side this week has dictated to me that I can't in every position, and that's okay. So there's no issue with that. I actually really like him. A few people have asked me if they should bring Herbie in this week who don't own him, and my answer to them has been get him in any week that you can, but particularly, playing against the Cowboys. I normally, or sometimes, I struggle to look at some of your picks and go, how the hell's he picked this? But I can see where you're coming from with this. Like I can see that he's a guy who can, and I was only using 100 conservatively. If he comes out against the Titans in round 26, gets 150 and you win, some of your cash comps and make a big jump in that round, like I think that's the type of job he needs to do. He doesn't need to be a week in, week out guy.
Yeah, and like I'm looking at him just thinking he's one of them guys at the back end of the year that can really go massive. And I look at some of these other guys that like we're looking at trading in, and I don't see that for a lot of these guys. Like Hudson Young, realistically, I want to chase more upside than that. He's probably the biggest upside guy we probably can get in the second row.
Position, yeah.
But it's also like the difference between him and the players I'm already playing in that position is probably not that
as
far
much.
off.
Yeah, that's the way to look at it. That's exactly right.
And with the centre wings, like it's definitely going to be a rule there. And if I've got 7 gun centre wings, which I will have, I'm going Karapani to him. Then I think based on matchup, it's going to work well for me. I've got Garrick Hopewade, then I'll have Azarko, Ramian, Tupou, Farnworth, Karaz. I think Tupou or Ramian go to Lomax, and I'll probably just do that this week just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like, maybe Tupou's the kind of guy that you interchange with Azarko as well, just based on matchup. But 2 tries and 3 line breaks on the weekend for 99, is that heaps of upside?
No, not really. But I guess he's just got along. Like last year, he averaged 70, and for the run home, he averaged like 82 over the last. I think you just you look at that. I look at that and then go, yeah, well, and Ramian has a great draw, but what's Ramian's ceiling? He's not a big ceiling guy either. And then you go, would I rather a Roosters left winger or the Sharks? And you toss. But in terms of the guys that you bring in, I think that's absolutely a great call. I don't think people have to think outside of the box somewhere in their side at the moment. You don't have to go with the crowd and everything. Is Jamayne Azarko going to be Jamaybe Azarko going to be a...
Jamaybe Azarko.
Is he going to be a big, someone that people bring in this week? Probably not. And what if he does go out and get 120 against the Cows? And I won't write... I know that they are struggling in the middle and they did get run over, but they still threw the ball around. Their attack on their left edge was a little bit shoddy to be expected with no Nikorima. But it wasn't terrible. The Sharks actually played a good game last week, and the Dolphins gave them a good run with almost no pack. I won't write any team with Isaiah Katoa at 7 off at all at the moment. Simple as that. So if he's the beneficiary of that, go for it.
100%. That's it for the players we're looking deep dived into.
I got a couple. Yeah, just a couple to add, and it's not in depth. Maybe I'll say them and you go first this time and I'll finish it. So I think we should probably cover Dylan Edwards. A little bit more depth.
We did that last week.
You guys did do it last week?
That's why I haven't.
So the only thing I've got there is he's only, and it will change with the Cleary news, but he is or was only owned by 8% of the top 1% as of this afternoon. I'd imagine that number's going to get into the 20s, but...
It'll go up, but I wouldn't imagine by heaps.
Well, a lot of people have Pappy as well that they probably can move as well. So there's a lot of options. Mind you, people can move Pappy in the flex and get whoever they want. It doesn't have to be a fullback for a week or two, but just Penrith's draw the next 3 or 4 weeks is as good as you can get.
Edwards is second traded in the top 1%.
What's he on now?
235 people, 14.7%.
Right, so that's going up quite quickly. That's where everyone's jumping. So, and then I've got Britton Nikora.
I like that.
Anything you've got on him? Any reason that you like him?
I'm just basing this off the last 2 seasons and how, I think Britton Nikora is a very good alternative to Hudson Young. If you can get both of them,
that's what I'd like to do.
Which I can.
Yep, so can I. At a point though, I don't want to get him. Well, firstly, don't know if we need him this week against the Roosters. He's up against Angus Crichton's a pretty tough.
Yep.
I mean, he can still score against anyone, but that's a tougher matchup.
Souths next week.
Have
Cowboys
a look at the 4
week
weeks.
After.
Yep.
St. George, Gold Coast.
Yep.
Buy in round 25.
Yeah.
And then Newcastle Bulldogs.
So, and this goes back to the point that you were talking about which teams have the best buy on the best run on the way home, which is what we've been talking about, players from those teams. I would just be aware of that all of them have great draws. All of the Warriors, Raiders, Cowboys, Penrith and the Sharks have great draws. You just don't want to have too many of them because most of them, at least the Raiders, Cowboys and Sharks, they all have buys in this next period. So you may only want to have 1 or 2 from each team, not 4 or 5. But a guy like Britton Nikora, I'm not going to touch him this week. And personally, I'd rather, because my side is going to be quite deep, I would rather save my trade until head-to-head final starts. But if I buy him in round 23, his matchups in 23, 24 and 26 are fantastic matchups. He's only owned by 22% of the top 1% as of as you can tell, probably a bit early before teams, but I don't think that'll change this week. The key stat for me, pre-Origin this year, base power average 44, and then like clockwork, like he seems to do every year, post-Origin 1 or round 12, base power average 61 over the last 5 weeks. That's a 17-point increase. And when earlier in the year when he was scoring a heap of tries and everyone was going, yeah, but he's only getting 70 with a try. We talked about this on multiple podcasts. He's now, if he gets that 61 base power floor, and he still gets his attacking stats probably every second week at least. He's that type of guy. His average suddenly moves into the mid 70s or that sort of range, and he really becomes a top tier option, especially with the draw they've got. So I'm personally going to hold off just because I really want Hudson now. But I don't begrudge if people want to play it safe. No injury and roll, no resting. His role certainly is there. But I'm going to get him in round 23, definitely.
I like it a lot. He's actually I got him in. I think I got him in before round 12, maybe even round 12. He was 550k, averaging 55. Mm-hmm. He's averaged 86 in his last 4 weeks. He scored a 67 before that. So this buy period, it works like clockwork. Clockwork, as you said, 2024, he was averaging up until round 12. He was averaging 55. Actually, he went as low as 54 for round 13. He ended up averaging 70.
Yeah, so last year, I did have a good look at this as well today. Last year, his base power average was actually pretty consistent across the year. What happened was in the second half of the year, they went back to attacking that right-hand corridor more, and he found more tries. This year, he actually started with a heap of tries. They did that, but his work rate was nowhere. We talked about this multiple times. It was through the floor. Now, they're still doing that. They're still going to him. Last week, he could have scored another try easily. Easily. A couple of times he ran great lines and got held up.
This absolutely pissed me off because Nico scored the play after it. Braden Trindle had Nicola in the perfect spot. Yes. He was running the perfect line.
Yes.
Braden Trindle always throws the short ball for the lead runner. And didn't this time when it was actually on.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. And not only that,
someone I didn't know and scored the next set with the line break.
Yes.
Next play, sorry.
Those really hurt.
But yeah. Fuck, Brady Trindle couldn't get any more annoying. He finally...
How good was his cutout ball last week?
Oh, my God.
When they would have scored if he just gave the simplest pass.
Yeah, he just had to give the short
That's
ball.
All he had to do what
that was on the other
side. That was on the other side, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I know you love to hate him, so I'll leave it there. But
I actually love him. In the past, I've owned him in SuperCoach.
Yeah, and when he plays as the lead half, I actually think he's reasonably good. But when he's got to compete with someone else, he just tries to. It's a hero play every time. My point this year is sorry about that. My point this year is a 17-point increase in his base power. So even if you talk about what did you say he was averaging pre-Origin this year? 55.
55.
So
he's
even
already up to 63.
Even if you just apply that 17-point base, so he gets basically the same amount of attacking stats, same amount of involvement, whatever you want to call it, and add his 17 base, that's a 72 average.
72.
That's what he should have been averaging earlier.
So prior to last year, he was averaging 54, and then he hit a 120 in 15.
Yep.
79, 92, 96
was
in
that
17.
Against the Dragons?
17, 18, 19. Oh, the 120?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And then after the bye in round 21, he went 43, 44. Then he went 96, 74, 98, 51, 137.
And again, you just look at him as a matchup play. He doesn't actually have. I mean, they do have a really good draw, but you don't have to play him every week. So if you're looking at buying someone like him, just pick your battles. Just pick him.
I'm also pretty certain he did exactly the same thing in 2023. So.
No doubt.
Oh, he didn't. He actually averaged less towards the end of the year, but he scored a lot of 90s.
But that's the thing, right? So even if you can call it whatever stage of the year you want, but he's a streaky guy. Yeah. And as soon as I saw, and I said this in our chats, or I think I said it in the Canoe Crew chat, as soon as I saw the 2 weeks in a row where he went from I think it was 36 and 42 base power, and the next 2 weeks watching the games and the eye test, he went 55 and 60 something. I went, now's the time to buy. A few people had already jumped on him before that, but that was, to me, I was like, yeah, that's the time.
I also like with someone like Nicola, in good matchups, like you can tell it's perfect. You know when to play him.
Yep.
And you know kind of when he will be all right to leave out.
Yep. For the I mean, look, you're going to miss some of these sometimes.
Yeah,
Shit happens. That's what happens.
But like 137 on the Manly Sea Eagles last year, who they were pretty wounded after that Bulldogs performance the week before. So I think they were just limping towards the finals. They had a lot to play for, but what I like is he's going to play one of these teams later in the year, whether it's Cowboys, St. George or Gold Coast in that last 3 weeks. He's got Newcastle around 26. He could come out and put an absolute monster score, whereas a lot of other second rows can't do that.
I completely agree. And as I said, I actually I had the same thought. Should I get Britton Nickera now or Hudson? I'm set on Hudson, but that's not to say anything about Nickera.
I've got Dylan Lucas sitting there and I'm just like, do I get him? Like, because I'm obviously not keen to go Lomax straight away, but I think Lomax is a good thing.
Yeah, I do think Lomax is a good thing as well.
I think Hudson's probably, I don't know, actually Lomax can probably score very similar.
Have you had a look at his scores, Hudson? And he's let's call it the 3 games since the injury. It's been like he got
scored like a 86 and a 59.
So he went 77 in 80 minutes, 87 in 76 minutes, and then the game that he backed up from Origin 2, he got rested. Like he had an early spell, 59 in 55 minutes. He's in everything for them, and they love to use him.
The way the Canberra are playing,
they love to play to him.
The way the Canberras are playing. Yeah, I've got a lot to think about, and that moves us on to pickle of the week, which I think that's going to be my pickle. Just which Origin side? It's Lomax or Young, and I think we'll decide by the end of the week. I think the thing is, if I go Young, Lucas is my ticket to Haas next week, so I'll probably have to miss out on Haas.
Yeah. Is that how you? So you at the stage now where it's not just which ones to get in now; it's also which ones to get in overall. I think that's when you got to look at the longer picture a little bit as well. Yeah.
Canberra have a bye.
Yep.
So I'll probably
he's carrying a bit of an injury.
I've probably got to go Haas. Then I've probably got to wait on that, which I'm okay with. Yeah. But then I'll need to go Cleary and Haas next week. So there's every chance I miss out on Haas anyway. So.
For a week anyway.
Yeah, who knows? Let's see. Yeah, so $35 is what you can get for Harry Grant and Jake Simpkin.
Oh yeah, nice.
Anytime.
Nice.
So I'll be putting a cheeky, let's say 5 times 5. So I'll probably put 25 on that, which is let's say nearly $1,000. I'll bump it up so it's $1,000 payout.
Just to get the vibe right. Yeah, I like that.
So $35. That's my bet of the week. I'll post it on the socials later. I think I like that bet. What's your pickle of the week? Use code TURBO when signing up, by the way.
I actually don't have a big pickle of the week because Nath's out. But my pickle of what that then becomes for my pickle of the week is, should I get Nath immediately next week? I know I said he's a must-have, and I know they've got the draw, but I also don't mind the draw of the other two halfbacks. It's a boring one to have. It's a problem everyone's had for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I'm probably going to go straight to Nath. It's just who I am. I always go for Nath when I can, but it certainly isn't a cut and dried situation because I will be left with 6 trades after my 2 this week, so I'm getting thin as well.
I'll tell you what's different about next week compared to this week. This week, Nath had the Rabbitohs, whereas the other 2 had
tougher matchups.
Yep. I think Jerome Hughes matchup's still all right.
I think it's still pretty decent.
Against Manly.
Well, it's particularly because it's against,
at Amy Park as well.
At home, and Burbo's actually a pretty decent defender, so no skin off his back, but you can't tell me they're not going to be trying to run Katoa over Luke Brooks. Like that's going to be a real tactic, right?
100%. So I think next week who does Nathan have next week?
They got another easy game.
Is it Canberra?
Or easier game.
Canberra.
Let me get. I should
my computer's just shit itself.
No,
of course.
Okay. If it'll load. They have the Tigers next week.
Historically against the Tigers, he's never scored super well either.
Well, I'll be super hoping that he does.
Yeah.
I also forgot to mention the team list. Kane Bradley has survived again. What a man.
Yeah, I said that.
What a man.
Yeah. No, is that good or bad?
Oh,
just bought him.
I know with all the bad luck from what Pappy's done to my side, the fact that I've been able to play Bradley the last couple of weeks and just trot him out there and scores. Like, it's just been good. It was good last week that he came back.
It was good. 2 tries for 60.
Yeah, well, that's all you're going to get out of him. He's literally as involved. He's about as involved as I am, and I wasn't picked in the side.
He does not look like a rugby league player.
I love that. I love people like that, though.
So the Storm have the Roosters next week, but then they have Parramatta the week after.
Yep, and then their draw is pretty tough after that.
The Storm?
Yep. So Para's the round that you'd be kind of, damn, I don't have him for that.
Nico has the Rabbitohs, then the Cowboys.
Yep.
So
and Nathan has an easy. So if you sell Hughes, the Parramatta matchup is going to be a really tough watch, especially when they already put heaps on them earlier in the year.
I think you can wait.
But
and then sell Hughes after that to Cleary.
I can. But I could also get Nath, because then their draw turns as well.
Yep.
So it's just cat and mouse at this stage of the year, isn't it? I guess that's why it's my pick of the week.
Yep, for sure. Use code TURBO when signing up. But let's go into trades. I've obviously gone Karapani to Azarko, and second trade is up for debate. I think I'm leaning towards probably Ramian or Tupou to Lomax. I think I'm going to go Tupou just because I know I've said I like Tupou on the matchups, but I think it might cost me going Cleary next week.
So you need the extra money will help you?
I've got 540K in the bank and going Karapani to Azarko.
You'll just have to work the numbers out. But that will help. You're right. Even that extra bit may be the difference maker. You should probably map that out.
And I don't want to be spending any more cash, like creating any more cash from anywhere. But maybe I have to be smart with any trades. Maybe I do like a... who knows? But the thing is, at least I've got DC in my side, low break even. So if he scores well this week, it'll help the situation next week.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup, but that he'll be up for it, especially against because he'll match up against Munster, right?
Yeah.
So you can't tell me there won't be a little bit of fire in his
against the Storms.
In himself against his Queensland captain.
The Storms.
The Storms.
Trades.
Yeah, trades for me. I am going Lucas to Hudson. It's pretty easy. I was going to do Hosking, but I'll do Lucas. And I'm going to do Karapani to Edwards. I'm going to go
Dylan?
Yep.
Oh.
Bloody oath. Yeah, I'm going to go it. I'm going to take that on.
I like it this week. It's a big play this week.
It's probably a 3-week play, and then I'll probably need another fullback for head-to-head finals, I think. Let me have a look when their draw turns. I think it might be.
Any temptation in Latrell?
Would be, but their
draws
firstly,
awful.
The Bunnies are just, the poor buggers, they're just shot to bits. They've copped every injury under the sun and another 10 that no one else knew existed. Losing Walker again this week. Campbell Graham's out again this week.
Fucking hell.
Like, if they could put a side on the park and play a couple of weeks in a row, I'd love to have him. And he probably will still score well, but they also have a bye in 26, and that hurts. Wouldn't change much because if I'm already going to trade Edwards out at some point, I'd be able to trade Latrell out for 26 and 27. But I'd prefer to run Edwards draw till 23 is South, Tigers, Titans, Knights. Even though the Knights are a pretty good defensive side, I think they're going to be at the stage where they're teetering on collapse, probably end of season. Then they play Melbourne, Canberra, Dogs, and finish with the Dragons, but they might even get a rest. They'll get a rest in one of 26 or 27. I'd assume they'll, depending on what ladder position they are, they might want to play the Dogs in 26 and then rest their guys in 27. I know in previous years they've, like the Storm have, at times they've rested in 26 and then played 27, so they're sort of in rhythm a bit.
I think there's every chance if they're not calculated for the 4,
they play.
No.
Oh, they rest.
No, I reckon they rest in 27 because in years past they've had that week in between the finals where they could have a rest. I don't know if they would want to have that rest a month out from one of their key games.
Yeah, no. Look, I completely agree with that. That's all those. For me, that draw says to me that I need him. I need Edwards probably out of the side by round 24, and then I can look at a fullback who I can play. I only need him to have 3 of the 4 good matches, or if I can get 4, would be good. But that's my reasoning for no Latrell is the round 26 buy because I'd keep him until 26, and then I'd have to hope that I've saved trades to then pick a fullback just for 26, 27. Might be a good thing, might not be.
All right, let's move on to Tipping Point, the game where we try and push each other over the edge. Whoever goes over, they're locked into that for the week, and the loser gets a punishment at the end of the season, which is looking likely to be me. I'm losing 7-11. Maybe I have to go to a 7-Eleven and
Don't start this again.
I'm still going to do the cheeseburgers before the year's end, I think.
No one believes you, mate. No one believes that you're doing it.
I'm doing it. And I've got to go to Jay's Kitchen at the end of the year if I lose, which is like a pretty average steak restaurant. And then maybe I'll have to, in the same note, shout you guys like a good steak or something.
Happy days.
All right, so Azarko, Lomax, Hudson Young, Dylan Edwards, and Britton Nikora I've put in there in place of Nathan Cleary, who has not been named. So Jermaine Asako against... Actually, I'll put Herbie Farnworth because I think he's going to be a popular option.
Okay.
Do I put him instead of...
Well, do you want...
I'll put him instead of Lomax.
Okay.
Or
so
Azarko.
you want to do both of them? That's fine. Didn't you guys do Lomax last week?
Nah.
You did Lomax last week, so just do both. You can do two from the same side. I know it's not common, but they are both interesting this week against the Cowboys.
All right, Azarko, I'll start the line at 55.
I'll go 65.
I'll go 75.
I'll go 80.
I'll go 84.
I'll give you that. I'll go under.
So I am over 84. You are under. Let's go Herbie Farnworth. Let's just start at 90.
Yeah, I'll go over 95.
I'll go over 100.
I'll go under. I think he'll go around that again. Right around that. Like I think we're right in the...
Yeah.
You know what? I'll check that one like straight away when the game ends or straight away when we get updates because I reckon we could be... that'll be within a few points. That's my gut feel this week. That's a really close one.
Hudson Young, I'll start at 65.
I'll go 70.
I'll go 75.
I'll go 77.
I'll go 80.
I'll go 82.
I'll go under 82.
Okay. Damn, that's close. I was getting very close to my...
Yeah. Dylan Edwards against the Rabbitohs, goal kicking or not, I'm not sure.
I'm going to say not goal kicking. I'll be basing my tipping point off not goal kicking.
I'll start at 75.
I'll go over 85.
I'll go under 85.
Okay. Was that close or were you looking at 80?
Yeah, I don't know.
Close? Okay,
I don't know. Britton Nikora, I'll start at 70.
I will go under 70.
Oh, damn. I was trying to be bold there and
that's close.
Just be like, oh, yeah, this is the first one. You'll easily get that.
Only because it's the Roosters.
Okay. I'll take
and
that.
And Crichton. I think it's really close. I think he'll go very close to that in base. Base power. I'm basically guessing that he this week maybe doesn't have an attacking stat. But I'll tell you what, he seems to have one every week, so it doesn't matter who he versus.
Shout out to Ramian, got his first try since round 1 last week.
Yeah, and he can thank Nikora for all the work he did on the inside there. That was a very good play.
Yes, it was very good. All right. Captains this week?
Yeah, I like that you've split captains and trades this week. You've just like done trades and then tipping point and then captains. Usually we do like tipping point and then trades and captains.
Because I think like trades with pickle of the week kind of makes sense.
Yeah. No, there's no issue with it. I just found it interesting.
Yeah, there's no structure to how we do it every week.
It's pretty good.
It's just always
some weeks it's a bit more last minute, but you know we work jobs as well.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I'm pretty sure you can tell the weeks we have nothing. Sorry, captains. I mean, VC will be hard to go past Farnworth. I think he's a very genuine captain option as well.
Yeah.
I also like. I think the fullbacks, none of them are really standing out at the moment. Tedesco, Drinkwater, Trebojevic, no Pappenhausen. I think Jerome Hughes isn't bad, but I don't know. Maybe a straight C on Herbie is the play.
Dylan Edwards.
Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, I'm going to go VC Herbie and C Edwards. That'll be me this week. I was pretty keen on Drinkwater if Clifford was back. Like, very keen, actually, after watching sort of, I think probably goes without saying, but Drinkwater and Hines at times have fairly similar styles when they're on the front. When the team gets on the front foot, they're almost like they're impossible to stop. And when they're not, they're still involved, but they're just they just accumulate a bit more. I really thought that the Cowboys with Clifford would probably beat the Dolphins this week, or at least it would be very close and probably have points in it. So, yeah, I'll be swapping to the Herbie side of the field.
So 35% VC is on Herbie in the top 1%, and 28% VC are on Teddy. 12% are on the captaincy for Herbie, which is, I think, and Edwards, 5.7% versus 1.6% vice captaincy. So I think in the past, so we look at when the Dolphins played the Cowboys the other week, they attacked only on that left where Bostock got like 4 tries, but bombed the 5th. Will they do that?
That was worse than Lomax's. That was a howler. You'd have to go out of your way to drop that.
Will they do that again, considering Rob Derby has been dropped?
I don't know if it's more Derby being dropped or Nikorima not being there. Like, I think maybe they might go. That's why that's one of the reasons I was thinking Azarko might be more interesting this time. I think they could go right a bit more, but the Cowboys' problem when they haven't had Clifford play is they've had no one to kick him into position. Like, Dearden does a decent job, but he's not really a kicking half. So I just think the Dolphins will have plenty of field possession. That's for sure. I think they'll go both sides.
And I was going to do sit versus start, but I haven't even sorted out my team yet. So
sit v starts. Maybe it is time for us to start like looking at that sort of thing. But I've got a bit if you want a piece of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to leave out. So this week I'm playing Tedesco will be on my bench purely because he plays after Drinkwater. I've got Farnworth, Lomax, Kiraz, Tupou, and then on my bench I've got Garrick and Holmes. So I'm playing 2 centre wings this week, and I'm playing both Hines and Hughes at halfback. So I'm not playing any of my forwards, which my bench forwards for this week are Tarpanay and Hosking, and I'll have Haas there next week. But so that's basically my sit v starts this week. I suppose I'm leaving out Tarpanay over guys like I'm playing Kaloa Matangi in my front row. I've got Kikau, Katoa, and Young in my back row. I don't really have any weak links. I did bring Kurt Donahue in last week. Which has worked out really well for me. Firstly, he only scored within 10 of Connor Watson anyway, which isn't that bad. His role in that team looks like he's going to play huge minutes. He played like 70 minutes. He just didn't. He was actually a bit unlucky not to get a try assist for the gigantic forward pass he threw for Herbie, but that's the right decision. They're consistent with that. It's allowed me to have all the cash to do all that. Like, I haven't downgraded in like 3 weeks. It's been double upgrades for 3 weeks straight, and I'll still be able to get Haas and Cleary next week with no downgrades. But yeah, I think those are the sort of guys that people are going to be leaving out, right? Your Hoskings, your Tarpanay. I'm sure people have Haas that they have to leave out this week. I don't think there's anyone in my sit v starts. I could consider Tarpanay over Tupou, potentially. But I have because I've got Donahue at hooker, who would ideally be the guy that I leave out for a VC loop, but he plays in the same game as my vice captain first game of the round. I'm leaving Tupou in there as a potential drop for my VC loop. So it's a bit convoluted, but effectively I'm leaving the Raiders forwards this week, and I don't think I'll be playing them.
The more I think of it, the more Herbie might be a straight C, just based on...
You can. Dropping. It just depends who you can... Like, who would you want to drop in your 18 this week? Because I've only got, literally, that I would want to drop, I've only got Tupou and Kurt Donahue.
Well, for me, I'm already leaving out Tupou and Ramian. Yep. I'm playing Trebojevic, Hopewade, Garrick. Maybe I leave out like...
one of the Manly boys.
Hopewade, just because they're playing Melbourne. So don't need to have all 3 of them. I've got Fermor, Nikora, and Katoa starting. Maybe I'll leave out Nikora potentially.
Yeah, he'd be the closest because you probably don't want to leave out Fermor versus the Tigers.
No. Yeah. And I'm also playing Galvin and Jaden Campbell. I'm leaving out...
play both.
I'm not playing Daly Cherry Evans. I'm not playing Cam McInnes. I've still got Dylan Lucas on the bench, and Tupou and Ramian are left out of my side. So I might not force a second trade next week because I think I'm happy with my reserves.
You've got a deep side.
With Galvin being named at halfback, I'm happy to play him this week, and I don't need that third person.
Yeah, so even next week, I think people are all going to have the same problem. But next week, my sit v starts. as I said, my bench is made up of let me do it the right way. Effectively, my bench is one of Hughes or Hines, Tupou, and Garrick, because my starting centers are Farnworth, Lomax, Kiraz, and Holmes in best worlds, value scenario, and whichever one of Drinkwater, Tedesco, or Edwards you want to leave on the call as a bench. So I'm already leaving out. From next week it'll be far out. Probably Kikau, Tarpanay, Hosking, Hiroti. That'll be 4 guys who don't make my side next week. So, everyone's going to be in the same boat, but sit v starts are going to be crucial from here.
For sure.
And I'll remind everyone, there is a lot of luck involved in that. Don't beat yourselves up if you get those wrong. We all get them wrong, especially this time of year when it gets tougher and tougher. Make sure that when you do your sort of weekly review of your side, that you have a quick look at, why did I make this decision? Don't worry about hindsight and what the score says next to their name. What drove me to this decision?